Hello and welcome to another episode of SCG Reviews. My name's Will Jones and today we're going to be reviewing Dark Dealings. Dark Dealings is a competitive deck draft and combat game for 1 to 6 players. In Dark Dealings, you take on the role of an evil overlord, trying to construct the most dangerous dungeon that you can, and then lure in heroes and slay them to the delight of your fiendish employer. Play has a couple of distinct phases. First, you'll draft the heroes that you want to summon to your dungeon and kill, then you'll get the actual minions, traps, and spells that you'll use to build your dungeon, and then you'll one by one send heroes through your dungeon and slay them off with the traps in question. If your dungeon is unable to kill a hero, either because they're just too strong or because you don't have the right types of damage to deal them, they'll slay you and you're out of the game. The last player to be left alive gains the favor of the Dark Gods and wins the game. Now, if any of this sounds familiar to you, that's because Dark Dealings is eerily similar to another game that we've already seen on SCG Reviews, Boss Monster. It is very clear that when they were making Dark Dealings, the designers looked at Boss Monster and said, we can do that exact same concept, but better. And you know what? Good job, guys! The tagline for Dark Dealings should be, like Boss Monster, but better. The game's got a couple of unusual and interesting mechanics in it. First off, it's really neat that you're helping pick the heroes that you want to come to your own dungeon. They're not random, and you know what they're going to be from the outset of the game, so you can plan your dungeon around them as long as you can remember what you've picked, because you're not allowed to look at those heroes after you've drawn them. And you follow up that draft with a bidding mechanic, where you're actually using the power level of your heroes as a sort of currency to buy more powerful traps. So if you have weaker heroes, you're going to be left with the dregs of the available traps, but if you get more powerful guys, then you can get more powerful spells to deal with them. The mind versus mind interplay with the other people across the table can get really intense as you try to second and third and fourth guess what traps they might go for and what heroes they might have in their hands to use for bidding because you might have seen them and just decided not to draft them. And you don't see all of the traps at once. You have to wonder, oh, is that really powerful minion the most powerful minion we're going to see, and should I spend my best hero to bring it into my dungeon, or should I hold that for something better later? And then in the third phase of the game, when you're actually fighting off the heroes, that's another wave of decision making where you're trying to think, okay, this guy's vulnerable to spells, and he's exactly this powerful, so I could use this trap on it, but is there any other hero that's coming up later that I can remember where I need to save that trap? There's a lot of intricate memory and planning and strategy that goes into each successive part of the game. The only thing that's really frustrating about Dark Dealings at first is odd, and you do get over it eventually, and that is playing the game feels a lot like setting the game up. Usually in a game that starts off with a draft of cards, you'll draft your cards and then you'll have your hand and then you'll play the game. The draft is just setup. But in Dark Dealings, the draft is a huge part of the gameplay. It's about the first third of the game. So at the end of your first game, you might find yourself thinking, oh, I just got crushed. I have terrible heroes and I can't kill anything. And how did this happen? Oh, I missed the point of the draft. It's a little bit of a case of the game being too smart for its own good. But it's not a big deal, and hopefully you have someone teaching you the game who can prepare you for that. The game is blessedly quick, maybe 15 to 20 minutes per round, and it's fairly compact. It's a really nicely put together game. I do wish that the art had a little bit more variety to it. There's only about 12 different card types in the game, and each one only has one art background. All the rangers look the same, all the halflings look the same, all the spell cards look the same, etc. I understand why they did that, but it does make the game look a little bit more bland than they might have otherwise. Still, none of that can take away from the fact that Dark Dealings is a very well put together, creatively designed game, and I'm glad it's out there, especially after the disappointment that was Boss Monster. And those are my thoughts on Dark Dealings. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, go ahead and click below to like and subscribe to us for more great videos from Stone Circle Games. And until then, have fun around the table.